Hey y'all, let me tell y'all what happened to me today. So my husband and I was on the way. We picked up a few items from the store and we was riding by Cookout. And I said, "Ooh, you want a shake?" And my husband says, "No, I don't want no shake. But if you want one, you can stop, get one." So I pulls in the Cookout. I orders me a shake. And then guess what comes to mind? After I ordered the shake, the lady told me my price. And I see on there eggnog shake. And I said, my husband says, "Oh, they got the eggnog shake." And so as soon as the lady gave me my price and tell me to pull up, I said, "Oh, I always get that every year in December." I turns around. Nope, I stay right there at the intercom. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am." That lady act like she didn't hear me, y'all. I pulls up to the window. She told me $4.80 whatever she said. And I was going to give her the money. I said, "Ma'am, I tried to get your attention after you gave me my price and told me to pull up about the eggnog shake." She was like, "Oh, yeah, you want to add that onto your order?" I said, "No, ma'am." I said, "I was asking about it instead of getting the shake I normally have." So my husband became irritated with me. He says, "Yeah, ma'am, just go ahead and add it on. Add it on to the order." And I said, "Huh?" And I said, "Okay, ma'am, yes, ma'am, add it on." Lady took my fee. I gave her the money. My husband says, I said, "So," he said, "No, I'll take the shake that you said that you didn't want because you want that other shake." I said, "Okay." We gets home. I put my straw in my shake. I go to taste it and I said, "This don't even taste right." And my husband, I said, "I'm gonna taste yours." He says, "Uh-uh, that's not your shake, that's my shake. You're not gonna taste my shake." I said, "What?" And so he let me taste it and I was like, "Oh gosh, this is so good." And he said, "Uh-uh, give me that shake back." He said, "You're gonna get the eggnog shake." I said all that when I was slurping that shake and watching him drink his shake. I said, the Holy Spirit said, "This is what happens when you go back to familiar territory instead of when I've taken you out of that familiar place and put you in a new place." I said, this is what happens when the dead man dies and you try to go back and dig him up for whatever reason. This is what happens when you go back to that familiar place because you're like, "Ooh, it feels good. Ooh, it's a cheap thrill, but ooh, I can ask God for forgiveness. Ooh, you know, you keep on in that familiar place. You're gonna keep on with that familiar with them same results. You're gonna get them same results." I was telling somebody today, you got to come out from that familiar place where God has called you out from, where He has cut off some things from you. But you want to go forward, but you also want to go back to that familiar place. You want to be on both sides of the fence. You want to not only be in that familiar place, but on another hand, you want to be in that new place. God is calling you from that familiar place. He's calling you from that old place. He's calling you from your old ways, your old way or your own way of doing things to His way, which is His new way. You know how people say, "Man, it just feels weird to do it that way. It feels weird to," I used to say, it felt weird to feel like I'm in a storm and I have peace. You know why? Because I wasn't used to embracing what God had for me. I was not used to embracing peace because I was so used to, if I'm in a storm, then I'm going to be chaotic too. No, God is calling you to that new place. He's calling you to that new you. He's calling you to step into those new shoes. He doesn't desire, that old man is gone. He has created, you are walking in newness, a newness of life when you give your life to God. When you follow Jesus, you're new, you're made new. So yeah, don't go back to that familiar territory. You go back to that familiar territory like I did with that shake. I was like, "Ooh, I went back to that familiar place." And the whole time, my husband was screaming, saying, No, don't worry about it. Just get the shake you already got. But I wanted to go back to what I'm normally used to. And when I did, I didn't even enjoy it at all. Guess what that shake is? It's in the freezer, and I'm probably gonna end up throwing it away because he don't want it. He tasted it, and he like, that ain't even right. So, embrace what God has for you. Embrace His newness. Embrace the fullness of joy. That is the fullness, because anything He gives you is gonna be fullness of joy. Embrace what He has for you, and don't call it weird, because anything God has for you is not weird. It's new. It's fresh. It's great, and it's above anything else. It's amazing. So yeah, don't be like me. Fighting for that familiar, fighting for that old, when I should have been embracing that new. I should have embraced what I had already had. But instead, I wanted to give it up and go back to that familiar. So yeah, I hope this seed, you guys, learned something from me today with that shake. Um, and it was not good. I'm gonna just say that it was not good. So yeah, I love y'all. Until we meet again, y'all take care. Have a good night, guys.